Hi, I'm Jordyn Powell, a junior communication student at the University of Connecticut and a creator for Upptik. I'm here with Paris Bazemore to ask about her experience as a chemical engineering major. I'm here with Teejay Lopez to ask him about his experience as an applied science and social science major. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm a rising junior at the University of Connecticut. I have an interest in sort of like bioengineering. Initially, I came into college as a biomedical engineering major, and I was looking for something that's a little more broad. So eventually, I switched to chemical engineering.
Hi, I'm TJ. I'm also a junior. I am an applied social science major, thinking about going to a double majoring in bio. I'm interested in plants. I've loved plants ever since I want to say sophomore, junior year of high school. Um, I am very interested in how they can heal people and all their other properties. So, yeah.
STEM majors are notorious for being very coursework heavy and difficult. How do you manage your workload?
I use different time management techniques like time blocking, where I use Google Calendar to schedule out times for me to work on my assignments. I also use Google Calendar to keep track of like my tasks in the beginning of the semester. I include all of my homework assignments, like the due dates for my projects as well, into my Google Calendar. So I get reminders whenever stuff is due. I also study using like the Pomodoro technique, where you study in 25-minute increments and you take a 5-minute break between.
That's a lot of different resources and pathways to go about studying. I feel like I'm going to look into time blocking because I've never heard of that before. But tell me a bit about your projects outside of the classroom. Are you involved with any clubs, research projects, or programs?
Yes, I'm involved in the National Society of Black Engineers. They meet weekly, and I attend those meetings. Sometimes I'll have a guest speaker from a company within Connecticut, or sometimes it's just a company that's interested in hiring engineers. And they usually give a presentation, or sometimes we do more of like more career or personal development, like how to draft a resume, how to manage your finances. It's just overall a really helpful club.
Um, I'm I try to get involved in school as much as possible, but like often I have a pretty heavy workload. I also work outside of school, so I oftentimes like don't really have time for like, extracurriculars, but I try as much as possible, especially like my friends, things that I know they're invested in. Like I try to um join like their stuff whenever I can. Um, yeah, it's mostly just work outside of the classroom, though. I have a few hobbies like crochet. I'm trying to get into reading more. I embroider, I draw, so I have a few hobbies outside the class, and
Good. That's good. Are you currently doing an internship right now?
not an internship, but I do work in a plant and soil science related um like job. I work as a vendor at Home Depot, so we move the plants, we tell people about the plants. Um, it's not necessarily like learning how to grow plants, but it's kind of a if you want to learn, you will type of thing where you look at how they water the plants, or you look at how plants grow in a certain way, or like the time frame that certain plants are growing and what's on the shelf, what type of stuff. And like you can learn, you can choose to learn.
Right, right. It depends on how interested you are. So that does
Yeah.
give you a outside of the classroom kind of a bit of experience. What
Yeah.
is something that you did or experienced in school as a STEM major that helped you, whether it was a resource, a program, just an experience?
I would say there is the summer before I started college, there was a program for like minority students within science and engineering to like get together and like we take like a couple classes which were supposed to sort of give us an introduction to the material we would have our freshman year. I found that program really helpful because it sort of introduced me to like the parts of like time management in college.
Hmm.
Um, and the workload involved. Also, I met a lot of upperclassmen who had majors that I was interested in. At the time, I was biomedical engineering, so I met a lot of biomedical engineering seniors and juniors, which was really helpful because I could go to them for advice.
Right. Being able to go back to your mentors is so important. I just uploaded a post about making sure that you kind of get into a mentorship relationship with people when you're a STEM major, because you can really use that to build your career and just have a community.
Um, Disability services at my school helped a lot. Oh, I go to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, by the way, wearing their shirt right now. I Their disability services helped a lot. Um, they give like stuff like extra time on assignments, extended time on essays, like that type of thing. They usually have us like have people registered with them, like go into a different room and stuff. So that also helps because it's like a quieter space than like a gigantic lecture hall would be. But yeah, so just like little like the schools.
Support system.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your post-graduation goals?
Right now I'm still really trying to figure out the details. I want to apply to PhD programs, but I think I might work for a year or two. It just really depends on the environment after I graduate.
I would want to do something like a holistic doctor or a like an apothecary or something like that, like a job where like plants and healing are combined, but I don't really have anything concrete right now.
That makes sense. I mean, like, I don't either, so I understand. And are there any tips for incoming STEM students that you wish you had got when you were coming into school?
Yeah, I would say learn to balance your personal, like fulfill your own personal needs as well as your academic ones. It's important to find balance. I feel like sometimes people can focus too much on one or the other, and the other ends up getting neglected, but they're both really important. It's important that you enjoy your time in college and get to try new things and experience new things. But it's also important that you're hitting those academic goals that you need to and that you set for yourself. So I would just explore with different study techniques, time management techniques to see what really works for you to find that balance.
I think like this is something that a lot of people will tell you, but I never really like I let my fears get the best of me when I was a first year, but reaching out to your teachers and like emailing and like emailing TAs and going to TA office hours, like it really does make a difference. I always heard people saying this, like they swear up and down, and like I like heard it and I didn't really listen to it, but I should have because I'm doing it now and it's like it is very helpful. Like it can make or break your grade. So that's my biggest advice. Also just finding like a study method that works for you. It's a lot of experimentation, especially like I have ADHD, so like finding specific study methods can be kind of difficult, but like I think it's really worth like trying everything to see like what works for you because once you find your thing, like it also makes a big difference.
For sure. I 100% agree. Like, reaching out to your teachers is so easy and yet so hard to do for some reason because it's like there's a barrier there, but it's
Yeah.
very important to reach out to your teachers on any types of matters related to the classroom and to related to your career interest or your work. So 100% a resource that students should use going into school and not be too scared to use.
Yes.
Um, Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for doing an interview with me. And yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, of course.
So thank you so much for talking with me and talking to Uptick users about your experience. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
yeah.